Hi, welcome along to World Cup Daily, the show that discusses the World Cup and Arsenal news. And the World Cup is winding down now. Well, not exactly winding down because we're going to have the grand finale tomorrow, which is the final. But today is that sort of dreaded game for the two teams that haven't made it to the final. It's the third place playoff. And for one team in particular, it's they must be dreading playing this game, and that is Brazil, beaten, embarrassed, humiliated, deflated after their 7-1 hammering in the last round semi-final against Germany. They've got to come out again and play against Holland, and it's really going to be interesting to see what sort of game it's going to be. I mean, the fans, Brazilian fans, from what I've been hearing from some people that are over there on the ground, no longer really interested in the World Cup because of the way in which Brazil went out, and also are not really interested in the players of Brazil. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Scolari does tonight. Will he stick with those players that he's so rigidly stuck with all the way through the World Cup? Will he play players like Fred, Joe, etc.? Or will he roll out some of the other players that haven't really featured so far in the World Cup? That's what's going to be really interesting. I mean, they've been having a real inquest over there in Brazil, as you would have thought, about the whole Brazil team, the setup. Is the team too European? Do the players play in Europe too much and now have changed the style? Lots of questions, and they won't be answered by tonight's game, regardless of the result. It's one of those games where Brazil are really on a hide into nothing. If they win the game comfortably, that's not really going to appease the fans. And if they get another bad defeat or even a defeat of any sort, the fans are going to be even more unhappy with them. So not the greatest game for a Brazil player to play in. And then also on the Holland side, listen, whatever happens, they can, you know, look on it and say that they've had a great tournament. They've exceeded expectations, had some good victories along the way. Who can forget the first game when they beat Spain? I expect they'll probably rest quite a few players. Players like Robin van Persie have looked absolutely knackered as it's gone on. Will they play players like I Am Robin? We'll have to wait and see. But listen, you know what we might get? We might get a game that's very open because the two teams have got nothing really to lose. You might, well, actually, I'm not sure if Brazil will be as open as they were the other night, or they could get another tonking. But you know, I mean, it might be a game that flows, and we might get a good game. I don't expect us to see like a boring 0-0 draw tonight. I expect to see goals in the game. So that's the game tonight. The third place playoff between Holland and also Brazil. On other matters, of course, Arsenal, we've secured the signing of Alexis Sanchez, which everybody's still, you know, digesting and still overjoyed about. I saw pictures all over the internet yesterday of Alexis Sanchez's girlfriend doing a selfie in an Arsenal top, so she's very happy as well that Alexis Sanchez is going to be playing over here in England, in London, the first Chilean player to play for Arsenal. And he was quoted yesterday of saying that he's very proud that he's the first Chilean player to play for Arsenal. And he's also quoted as saying that he came to Arsenal mainly because of Arsene Wenger and his style of football, his whole philosophy. So there's always been a lot of detractors about Arsene Wenger, but he still has a pull to these players, and his style and philosophy is still a thing that is recognised around the world. Other targets at the moment, listen, the #1 target for Arsenal right now is Sami Khedira. That is the player that it seems like Arsenal are honed in and focused in on. We reported yesterday Khedira hasn't signed a new contract extension yet with Real Madrid. He's obviously exploring his options, wants a lot of wages, but Arsenal really, really want Khedira. He's the player that they want to be their defensive midfielder, box-to-box midfielder in the middle of the park. They face competition apparently from Chelsea. I don't know where Chelsea would put Khedira, but of course Khedira used to play under Mourinho at Real Madrid, and Mourinho loves Khedira, loves the way he plays, would love to bring him in at Chelsea, which beggars the question, were they too hasty when they signed Cesc Fabregas? Because if he's now after Khedira. I mean, it doesn't seem to make sense how many midfielders they're going to have, but you know, he's Chelsea and they like to stockpile players. But Khedira is definitely the #1 target in the defensive midfielder position for Arsenal. If not Khedira, for what I understand, the next preferred target after that is Lars Bender. They'd love to get Lars Bender, and if they can't get Lars Bender, then they might opt for Schneiderlin from Southampton. Although I saw yesterday where the manager Ronald Koeman from Southampton saying that no more players will be sold from Southampton. Now, whether he'll be able to, you know, stop those players from leaving if they get a sniff that they could go and play for Arsenal in Champions League football, etc., is a different matter. But that is what he's saying. Another person that I've been told that Arsenal are really, really hot on signing, and is the #1 target in the goalkeeping area, and that is David Ospina. You saw him playing in goal for Colombia. He plays at the moment for Nice. He cost about £3 million, 25 years of age. That's young for a goalkeeper. You saw him in the World Cup for Colombia. Very, very competent goalkeeper. Very good goalkeeper, as a matter of fact. Well, I've been reliably informed that he is the #1 goalkeeping target at the moment for Arsenal. That's the player they'd like to attempt to get to the Emirates Stadium, and that's David Ospina, goalkeeper for Colombia. That is who Arsenal would really like to get. They Arsenal also still talking to Loic Remy, still considering Loic Remy, and I've also heard that, you know, Loic Remy, you know that I've said it all along. That he's the player that I was told that's like almost a done deal. But I'm also hearing as well that Arsenal are looking at other forward targets. So it would appear, obviously with the Loic Remy thing, and even if they are looking at other forward targets, that definitely, you know, it's not just going to be Alexis Sanchez that they're looking for, and he's the centre forward or whatever, and that's it. They're looking at other forward targets. Definitely don't want to get caught short like what happened last season. So still looking at Loic Remy. And it was very, very interesting that I was looking on the Arsenal website yesterday, and Joel Campbell is now listed in the first team. You know, where they show all their pictures and give a brief description. Joel Campbell is listed on the Arsenal website now as an Arsenal player playing forward. So maybe that indicates that Joel Campbell will not be going out on loan, and that Joel Campbell has definitely got a role to play in the Arsenal squad. First team squad this season. I mean, there have been rumours that he might be sent out on loan to Newcastle as part of the imminent Matthew Debuchy deal, but it would appear that he, you know, by looking at the website, that Joel Campbell is expected to figure in the plans. Let's go through some of your comments. Luckily, hopefully, we've got it up today. We've got your comments up. Babika says Lars Bender is miles better than Khedira and won't acquire such a high salary. He is definitely a very talented player, Bender. Physical presence, tall, imposing. He would have been in the German national team had it not have been for the injury he suffered before the World Cup. Joshua TFB says, if we get Khedira, then it will help a lot in winning the league. Definitely, he will make Arsenal a lot stronger. Definitely, I think at the moment, there's teams out there are fearing what Arsenal are doing in the transfer market, and that's good. Good to know, because, you know, it's just such a long time since we've had that X factor. Ilias Corvus says, still can't believe we've signed Sanchez, but we've got to sign Khedira now. So it seems like for the fans, Khedira seems to be the #1 target. Abu says, hi from Kuwait, go Arsenal. Hi to you as well, Abu, over there in Kuwait. Majed says, he played outside on the right in a 3-man attack. I think he's talking about Sanchez. Yes, he did for Barcelona. Very going to be interesting exactly where Arsenal playing, but I think he will be playing somewhere across that front three, and he's going to be like really pushing as a striker. Yudish23 says, if Germany lifts the World Cup, it will be a great boost for Arsenal. Of course, the World Cup final tomorrow, potentially featuring 3 Arsenal players. Ozil will definitely start. And then you've got Mertesacker and Podolski. I'm not sure if Mertesacker will start. It'll be very interesting to see if they go with Mertesacker or if they choose to leave him out because they're worried about the pacing behind, because Germany do play quite a high line that's not really suited to Mertesacker's style of play. And Podolski, a very experienced player, player that they can bring in off the bench. So potentially, you're right there. If Germany do win that World Cup, it will, those Arsenal players in the German squad will come back feeling $1 million, and that can only help the club. See if we got any. We got others here. Moran Mohammadi says, where do you play Sanchez at first, as a winger or as a centre forward? I want to see us playing him as a centre forward. I really do. I really want to see Arsenal playing him as an interchanging centre forward, because I believe that you're looking at a guy who could be potentially as explosive as Suarez was, as Aguero is. He reminds me a lot of even somebody like a Carlos Tevez. So I'd like to see us really put him up there where he can get loads of goals. Sabu says, still can't believe we got Sanchez after a decade of losing our best players every summer. Finally, we may have a summer to celebrate. Let's hope for some more signings and a good final. I think he mean a good final transfer day, maybe. I tell you what, he's so right there. I mean, normally every summer it's all about who's going out, who we losing, who's being poached. And listen, there's still a couple of players that might get poached this season. There's still the whole Thomas Vermaelen situation. We don't know what's happening with that. And we have seen Sanya go, but replacements that are coming in are more than competent, and it's just looking good. Wow, I don't know how to pronounce this next name. MINIMINID dude 168. Sorry, I've got to do that. I can't pronounce it right. He says, happy about the Sanchez deal. I'm a bit concerned about these goalkeeper targets. Do you think a keeper like Ospina will play number 2 after Szczesny? Well, Ospina has been playing his football in France for Nice. Now, come on. I mean, if he gets a chance to come to play for Arsenal, yes, he will be number 2, but he'll be his remit will be, you can battle to get into the first place spot, and there'll be the small matter of the amount of money that he'll be getting, and he, potentially can play in the Champions League, etc. So I think for a player like that, who's coming from a club like Nice, it's very, very attractive to come to Arsenal, even if you're playing number 2. And remember, he's only 25, so I think it would hold a lot of appeal to him. Stefano Greto says Campbell must stay. I must admit, I'd love to see us keep Campbell, because we give him a chance now. He looked so exciting in the World Cup. I'd love to see him. AFC of NYC says, no Remy, we do not need Remy. Just sign Khedira and a backup goalie, and for God's sake, keep Joel Campbell. I think we do need a player like Remy. We need a forward. We do. Let's not go into the season with having any weaknesses in any areas. Let's be strong in all areas, which means we need 4 strikers, which means, remember, Bentner's gone now, Parker's gone now. We need another striker, simple as that. And I think Loic Remy makes perfect sense. Scores goals already in the Premier League. We've seen it at Queen's Park Rangers and at Newcastle. Had an excellent goal-scoring record when he was in France. And I think Wenger could work wonders with this guy, and I think he could be a definite serious weapon playing for Arsenal. I think it would be a very, very good signing. Erwin Ramirez says, no, Ochoa, he says. That's who we should go for. He's a free transfer. Yes, Ochoa. The only thing I slightly worry about Ochoa is he's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world. I know he did great in the World Cup, but remember, in the Premier League, when you've got these big, imposing centre-halves, bearing down on you. I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on set pieces. I think physical presence does go a long way. Ochoa, I think maybe Ospina, saw him in the World Cup, was very impressed by him. I think that'd be a good addition. And Ilias Corvus says, Ospina is a very good goalkeeper who could become a number 1, right? And let me just do a couple more here. D-Lo53 says, Guna from Atlanta in the USA says, go Sanchez, go Arsenal. And I'll tell you what, you must be still proud of your USA team over there. They've done you proud. And we get one more in here that we haven't heard from yet. Who've we got here? We've got James K. Oh, lost him. James K52. He says Brazil to win tonight. That's the big one tonight. Brazil versus Holland in the third round playoffs. And Arsenal fans still buzzing. Sanchez, we're still getting our head around it, still loving it, and it's all good. Don't forget to check out. We've got loads of videos running at the moment about Alexis Sanchez, about the new Puma kit, and the whole Puma kit launch. Make sure you check out those videos. Brilliant video with Daniel cutting the football freestyler, doing some superb skills at the Puma shop at the Puma launch. You've got to check that out. I love the comment from a fan who said that we should get the amount of times he saw Daniel cutting, holding the ball or keeping the ball up. We should get him as a holding midfielder. That was a brilliant one. Thanks for watching World Cup Daily. We'll be back tomorrow previewing the big one, the World Cup final, Argentina versus Germany. Who's going to come out on top? We'll find out tomorrow.